Hello, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today we have as our special guest, Catherine Austin of Karma Yoga. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm really excited to talk to you about your business because it has to do with something I love and what's near and dear to my heart, which is yoga. But before we talk about your business, which is Karma Yoga, located in the Oakland County area, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of weave our way into how you started this company.
Sure. It's an interesting journey that I've had to get to yoga. I was actually an aerobics instructor back in the 80s when everybody was doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was jumping around like everybody else and got to the point where I felt like I needed to do some more stretching. So there was a yoga studio across from where I worked, and I went over with some of the teachers and we just started to stretch. But it was like maybe 1 or 2 classes that was obviously way more than stretching. I figured it out very fast. It was something that was supposed to be found deep within me, and I immediately took to it, and within 6 months I had hung up my aerobic shoes, took a teacher training, and started down this path.
And now you've been in business how long?
9 years today.
9 years.
Yeah.
That's quite the journey. And you started way back when, before people were even opening up studios, you know, to teach yoga, and before it really became super popular. So you've grown it into a very large business where you have how many people are affiliated with your studio?
I have about 25 employees.
25 employees. That's big. That's very big for a yoga studio. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you know, when you started this business, did you know you wanted to have a yoga studio? Did you have that entrepreneurial desire at that, you know, to do something like this?
Actually, no. And you know, at that time I was 43, so it was like, wow, start a business at 43. It felt old, but actually it was perfect. I had been teaching in the area for a long time, and I left a particular studio because I was growing to a different place with my teaching and my study of yoga. Absolutely no idea about opening my own studio. So I kind of floundered around for a couple years, taught at some other places, helped Peter Nielsen open a yoga program for his health clubs.
Oh, fantastic.
But there was this desire deep within me that felt like, started to call me, like, wow, this doesn't feel right. I think I'm supposed to open a studio, because all my old students were saying, where are you? We miss you. And then that's how I got guided to open the studio. So,
and you know, and you know, because you've had your experiences and I have, you find that teacher and you really want to follow the teacher, so to speak, and because that person just connects with you at that special level.
Yeah, so I would say my students really guided me to my dharma, is what we call it, or my role in life on this earth, and it was clear, this is what I should be doing. And I thought, well, you know, I'll give it a try for a couple of years, and if it doesn't work, oh well.
You'll still be in good shape.
Yeah, right.
Because you were exercising all along.
That's right.
So now, you know, you said you had, you know, you maybe floundered around a little bit trying to figure out how to get this started as a business. You did get it started as a business, and you grew it to something successful, and it's still going strong 9 years in. What did you do as an entrepreneur? What resources did you draw on to get that extra whatever you needed to get this started? Because a lot of new entrepreneurs want to do what you just did. There's a lot of men and women in their 40s that want to start businesses right now, and they have trepidation about it. But what did you do? How did you do that?
Well, I think what was key for me was that I had taught in the area for a while, so I had a reputation. I think that's important to build your client base. Then when I decided this is what I was going to do, fellow colleague teachers of mine that we've all taught together in the community said, I want to do this with you. So it was this natural, organic process that we all came together. We'd been teaching for a while. We weren't brand new teachers. I thought that's really important. So we had a following, and then as we came together, it was kind of a natural evolution to have students started to come. But we did pick a location that was our own and unique to us, so that we were in a neighborhood, and we created our own clientele as well, and that's very important.
And where are you located again exactly?
We're on the southeast corner of Maple and Lasser Road.
Okay, yeah, I know that area. That's a nice location.
It's a great location. You're in a community, and it has to be convenient for your clients. Think about exercise. Would you go 30 miles to go exercise? No, it's got to be in your circle of what you do. You know.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, as you grew this business over the years, and you get to different stages. But how did you I mean, you had the following of students, but there's ups and downs in the economy. People move into the area, move out of the area. What have you done to keep your yoga studio front and center in the community? What types of communications have you done, or community outreach, or things like that? What have you
Well, the first
found
place
works?
I'd like to start with that question, it's a great question, is I feel the key is that we as the teachers constantly grow and evolve in our own living of our yoga, our practice of our yoga, and that's what has grown and evolved my business. Hands down, I can tell you that. As I continue to grow and study on this path, I'm just naturally bringing it into my teaching. So that grows our students and our clientele as well. It grows your reputation and people's experiences that they've had in the business. We continue to grow just in the community outreach by being known more. So we do a lot in the community as far as events. We just did 3 in 1 month. We had a charity event for a yogathon, Labor Day weekend. I taught at Yoga for Hope in Windsor. It's a cancer charity event. I'm teaching at Yoga Aid next weekend. So the more that we're out there too, really supporting our community, comes back karma yoga to us and helps continue to build us.
Yeah, that's a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you remember the day that you selected the name?
I didn't select it. It came to me.
It came to you.
That's how. And it's crazy now that I look back. It was so right on, because we just show up every day and try to do the right thing with our teaching and running this business as this collection of teachers, and that's what karma yoga means, is to work without the fruits in mind. The fruits come if we show up and do the right thing every day, and that's kind of where we always come from with our philosophy.
And do you find that, and I don't know if this might be the term, that running an intuitive or heart-based business is it's a different way of doing things, because there is no one way of doing things, or I don't believe, at least in business.
It's totally, and for me and for this type of business, it's the key. It's how it works for me.
Yeah.
I get guided through my own practices, through my own intuition. And this practice opens up your intuition, so you're going to hear the guidance so much more clearly. Some things have worked, some things once in a while maybe didn't, and I try it and I'm not worried, and if it didn't work, then we just make a change.
And I think it's, I've seen so many more women and even men going down the path of a heart-based business and using their intuition and sensing their way through the growth of the business, and really having that be fully integrated with it and who they are, rather than the business be something separate I do every day.
Yes. Yep.
So for you, it is not your work, it is who you are.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm so lucky and so grateful and blessed to be in this type of job. I mean, it's just an incredible gift.
So when you look at your business, and I know, and again, I'm asking this question more from the sense of other people looking to go into business, and perhaps things that are in a similar vein, being like a service or working very closely with the public or with the human body, like health-related or wellness-related. What were some of the challenges that you've had in growing a business like this, when you are working so closely with pretty much the heart and soul of somebody?
I can't say that I've had too many challenges on the way, because like you explained, this is not so much work to me. It's something, it's my passion, it's my dharma, it's what I love to do. So maybe there's been some bumps in the road of sometimes, in the public, maybe someone wasn't happy with something in the class. It's really small just to have to deal with that. And it's just grown me as a business owner on how to have healthy relationships with people that may even be unhappy once in a while, and how to deal with that as a business owner is quite a skill, so I've really grown that way. And also managing staff and employees. When I opened the business, I never even considered what that was going to be like, and that's a very interesting journey as well.
Right, because it's not,
it's not easy.
No, because I mean, you have a little less time in the day to do other things, because it does take time. Even if it's easy and it's all flowing, it's still, it takes time on the clock.
When you're the owner, it's 24/7. It's usually in your head all the time. I was telling a friend that sometimes the only way I can turn off my business is to get on an airplane and let go, because there's nothing else I can do, and that helps me.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the composition inside of your business and what you have. What types of yoga practices or classes or workshops do you have available?
Sure.
And are any of those completely unique to your particular setup as opposed to something you find everywhere?
Yes, I think what we've developed in over to the 9 years is a really deep variety of classes to serve all levels of the public, from prenatal to senior yoga, chair yoga. We have MS classes. We have all different types of, if you would want to call it, brands of yoga, because yoga falls under this big umbrella. So underneath the physical practice of yoga, there's been many kind of inner brands that have grown out of that with different names that people are familiar with. And so we offer a lot of the different modalities or technologies of yoga, which I like, to help each person find their way to help them release stress, to grow and evolve as a human being. And it's not always just one way, one type of yoga for one person.
You know, can you talk a little bit, because I find this always interesting, like the yoga that you do with moms-to-be.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about maybe some of the types of things that you do with them, and how does it affect them overall as they're going through some of the stresses as their body changes? And how far along can they continue to do some of the yoga?
Well, this is really exciting because we're entering into this whole new family yoga as I'm expanding my business now. And so prenatal has just come on board last January. And it's a class for moms for the entire length of the pregnancy, as long as they're feeling good and it's a normal pregnancy. They can go all the way to the end. And it's helping the mom bring her into a high vibrational state, as we say it, of peace and calmness and joy and courage and confidence to birth this baby. She already has the tools internally to do it, and we're just reminding her that she's already knows how to be a mother. And then when that baby is born in that same vibration through the mom, the baby comes out with that courage and that confidence and that peace and the joy. And we do this through yoga poses, through teaching them meditations, through using beautiful mantra music, which can change actually at your root in the baby even, deep patterning, and put them into a higher state of peace and joy.
And I assume some of these women that started with you earlier in the year, some of them have had their babies, right?
Yeah, we're just starting to get a few graduates.
A few graduates coming through.
Yeah, so we have like 9 weeks pregnant to 34 weeks pregnant right now in our classes.
Wow, that's really interesting. And they can do it all the way up until the end, like simple types of
Yes, because it's very gentle yoga. We're doing a balance of, you know, letting them have some relaxation and some downtime and time with their baby, but also strengthening them and preparing them for delivery.
Yeah, and you know, I bet that's very, very helpful, because I found that yoga just does amazing things for your body, but I can only imagine it's how helpful it is for somebody who's, you want to still keep making sure your muscles have,
and even
strength, and
more, we're teaching them that a strong mind, strengthening their mind, can do anything. Because a lot of the first-time moms are fearful of giving birth, and we're helping them to relax around that.
That's
cool?
So neat, yeah. And to help them when they're actually there that day when they're.
And I'm a mother of 3 grown sons, so I've got a little bit of experience that can help them a little bit. But you're going to be okay.
In fact, you'll want to do it again, right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's really interesting to me. So, speaking of the family orientation, do you have any yoga classes where you're working with little ones, like?
Yes.
Little kids.
Yes.
And how little are the littlest?
6 weeks to 3 years old.
So stretching them out?
It's our spirit baby classes.
Spirit baby classes.
Aren't they great? So mom and dad can even come into those classes, and what they'll do is have a little yoga for themselves, and the baby can just play or sleep on the mat. The toddlers are running around the room. It's fine. They can just be who they are. And then we move into mommy and daddy and baby yoga together. So there's beautiful, fun things we do together.
Oh, I like that. I love that idea. And plus the child seeing them actively doing that and picking that up even at that very young age, which
how about that?
that's fantastic.
Because we
really
shape
like
the human being in the first 7 years of life, and it's pretty much sealed by age 8. So we have those times to really make a difference.
Wow, that's fascinating. And then you have, and tell us a little bit about the other types of classes you have and what kinds of levels. I mean, it sounds like you serve every level from
We have every
very
level.
beginner to.
Yep, we have gentle yoga for people healing from maybe an injury or surgery or something like that, or even seniors come into the gentle yoga, great class. And then we have a regular beginning level. We have more instructive yoga called Anusara or Iyengar if you want to get more detail oriented in your poses and learn some more detail. We've got hot and sweaty.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean,
haven't done that, but
we've got everything. Chair yoga for those that are really limited. Relaxation, guided meditations on Monday evenings. We've got restorative yoga. I mean, there's nothing that we don't have, I think, if I go through it.
That's fantastic. Now, how involved are you in teaching these classes? I know you have other people that are working for you. Are there certain classes that you're just teaching yourself, or okay?
I keep my schedule to about 8 or 9 classes a week, meaning like group classes, and that's a perfect balance for me with also having to run the business, keep creating, keep evolving, and then I have about 4 or 5 standing private clients I see weekly. That's kind
I was going to ask you about that. Tell me more about that, and how you work with them, because that's neat too, like a personal private yoga instructor.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Like
a lot
that.
of people will hire me just to maybe take them through a meditation for an hour because they don't have the time to do it or the discipline. Sometimes they want to do yoga. Sometimes they just want to talk. I'm available for whatever they want that hour. Some people are maybe working on something. Can we focus more on this pose or strengthen me so I can do handstand? It's everywhere. And then also, some of my private clients are 11 years old, 16 years old, because their moms and dads are asking me to help them with stress release because they're already seeing it affecting them. And this is how I got guided into adding the prenatal and the spirit baby. Let's start back at the root. I'm seeing too many stressed out kids. Yeah.
And it's very sad. I mean,
and it doesn't have to be that
at
way.
that level. I mean, at that age in your life. And I'll tell you, I can speak from personal experience. Yoga has done so much to relieve my stress, and when I don't do it, I can so tell how different my life is.
I say to my students, have you ever fallen off the yoga wagon and your family members like, you need to get to yoga? Right? People can feel it right away.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about the area of some of the meditation, because I love to meditate. It's helpful. I've done that in some of my yoga classes. Let's talk about some of the healthful benefits and some of the different types of meditation you do with people.
Sure. Well, in our group classes, I often lead out loud type of mantra type of meditations that are easy for them to do with maybe some specific mudras they might hold in their hands or their arms.
And can you define mudra for anyone?
Sure. A mudra would create an energetic pattern in your body and also into your physiology and your nervous system. So it's just a way of directing energy, and all of yoga is about that. The asana or the poses are to help clear the energy channels. So as you're releasing stress from your body and your physiology and your nervous system, you're going to open up energy channels and start to feel better. That's why you feel better after yoga. That's what's happening. And the asana prepares you to sit comfortably. How can you meditate if you're not able to sit comfortably? So that's kind of the natural progression. So maybe in the yoga classes we do group mantra chanting type meditations to change a specific patterning, to raise our vibration, to feel better. There's many different ones. And then we also can do silent inward meditation twice a day on our own, which is my practice, to really connect with the universe or the bigger energy so that I feel centered and grounded in peace and calm. And meditation in general clears lots of old patterning, lots of old stresses and traumas, and releases that so that you can be clearer and more creative and be healthier and have better relationships and work better because you meditate. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all of life gets better because we meditate.
And I know, some people may be concerned that there might be some sort of a conflict or something that doesn't work because they have maybe a certain religious following. Can you speak to that? Because yoga is for everybody, but can you address that a little bit? Because I know for some people it's a concern. I don't know if I should go there. I don't know if it's right for me or if it's taking me off another path. Or
it is not religious based at all. It's all religions would fit into yoga. It's just a way of connecting back to yourself. And I often say that yoga is who you really are. So it's just peeling away the layers of stress and anything that you went through in your life that developed you to who you are today. We all have that, sadness, pain, disappointments, things like that. It just helps remove all that. And then you become this beautiful light being again, and it's not religion based. It's just remembering who you are and feeling happy and healthy and whole again.
And I'll tell you, as a woman, I'm not going to speak for all women, but I'll tell you, as women, we tend to lose connection with our bodies very easily when we're pulled in a million directions. We're trying to balance so many things in our lives. And then, when I started with yoga many years ago, it was like I rediscovered my body, what it feels like. It's like, oh my gosh, I have a, you forget you even have a body at times because it's just the scattered energy, the scattered mind. And I'll tell you, it really is so, so helpful. And I know most of the classes I've been in are predominantly women, but there are men, and everybody loves the men in the class. So, And I know you have men in your classes, but can you tell a little, maybe share some experiences from both sides, but from men in particular who have found this, for their stress release. Can you talk about that?
Wow, I watch this all the time, the men that come in, and they are blown away by how powerful yoga really is. There's such a misconception before they come in. Oh, I'm not flexible, I can't do it. It's not about being flexible. It will help you get more flexible. And so I've watched them come from maybe a really stressed out mind and career, and all of a sudden they just start to let go of all that small stuff that they thought was so big. And even a longtime client I've known him for probably 15 years, and we were playing this beautiful musical instrument in the studio the other day, and it's the first time he finally kind of fell asleep during the rest at the end of class and really let go. And he's like, wow, if you can get me to let go, that's amazing. So it's fun to watch their transformation.
And it's great for men who play sports like golf. I've heard people say that it's helped so much with their golf game and their concentration, not to mention the flexibility because of being, having to twist your entire body up to make a golf swing. And also, in my particular class, I remember one person commenting on, and again, this is just what I heard from somebody in my class, helping them with their arthritis because of doing those weight-bearing exercises. And for me, it helped me get off of medication for asthma and allergies. Because I was having so much trouble breathing, and once I was able to train my breath, so many things cleared up.
Isn't it an amazing healing practice?
Oh my gosh, yeah, and it's nothing that medicine was doing, and I was taking a number of prescriptions at the time. And I know that might not work for everybody, but that was my own personal story.
Well, everything you're describing is correct, because remember that yoga is the practice of purifying. So when you're doing the breathing, when you're doing the poses, when you're doing meditating, it's all technologies to purify. So as you purified out what was causing those imbalances that caused those symptoms, they go away.
And I also learned how to breathe from my belly, which was really hard.
Right.
I didn't realize how much, as they say, when you're stressed out, you're breathing from up here.
You're gasping.
Right. And it's, I'm able to do it a little bit better now. And of course, that's how the baby breathes, right?
Yeah.
Babies do that, so you could fall asleep at night. So I'm getting better at it, and I'm really proud of myself for that. But it's thanks to yoga, because it's trained me to reconnect with this body that I really have lost connection with.
Well, most people walk in and they're all in their head and completely disconnected, and they're gasping and they're running through their day. So we get them to slow down, get back in their body, get grounded to the earth, and it's immediate results. They have a transformation in 45 minutes.
And it's not work. It's just, it's not work.
No.
And plus, you know what I've also enjoyed, and I know this is what you probably love the best about your business, is that being together with the, you know, your Sangha, with your group.
The collective consciousness.
And it is so wonderful to exercise with other people. I mean, it's just, and not in that competitive way, but just in just a really calm, beautiful way.
Remember, if everybody's in that same beautiful vibration of joy and happiness and they want to be there to improve their lives, it raises up the vibration of the entire room that much faster. And then all that healing work we're doing happens that much faster, because when two or more are gathered.
Right.
It's a very famous line.
Yeah, and I have a really quick question before we wrap things up. But
sure.
Do you also do programs for corporations? Do you go into businesses?
Yep.
And you
yep.
do?
We
Okay,
have
so you
done that a lot
as well.
in the past.
Yeah, because what a great team kind of thing to do. You know, maybe once a week on a Friday, have everybody change into their yoga clothes, and for people who want to participate to do that at work, it'd be great.
It is.
So I'm glad to know that. You know, I know we have to wrap up, and I've enjoyed talking to you, but I have to ask of you, what is your advice to entrepreneurs? You've been one for probably more than 9 years, but 9 years in this particular business, Karma Yoga. What's your advice?
I think if you listen to your heart and follow your passion and not listen to everybody else and really get directed from guidance from above, you will be successful. I think it's the most important thing. And just trust your intuition and follow that heart.
Well said, Catherine. Catherine Austin, Karma Yoga. Thanks so much for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join me again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.